Last week, I did what very well may end up being the most crazy stream of my entire life. On Monday, March 3rd at 12 o'clock noon, I sat down to play the Yu-Gi-Oh! Early Days Collection, which is a collection of Yu-Gi-Oh! Video games that released between 1998 and 2005 with one goal in mind: to not end the stream until I beat every single game in the collection. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the stream ended on Saturday, March 8th at 9 o'clock p.m. It was a 129-hour stream, and I'm going to take you through the journey, through the pain, and through the glory. Here is how I beat the Yu-Gi-Oh! Early Days Collection in one stream. So the rules were simple. We needed to play every game to completion, which means you just need to see the end credit screen or face what is considered the final boss of that game, because some games don't necessarily have an end credit scene. The goal was to use no codes, no getting rid of forbidden lists or ban lists, and no adding cards. Now, there is one card that I did add in Reshef, but we'll get to that a little later on. And we wanted to beat 13 of the 14 games, as Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters 6 did not get localized into English. So you might see early on games beaten 0 out of 14, 1 out of 14. Well, the goal here was just to beat all 13 English-released games, and we basically changed that kind of midway through when I realized that Duel Monsters 6, 1, was not translated, and 2 is basically the same game as Yu-Gi-Oh! Stairway to the Destined Door, which is a title that is also in this collection. I had made a schedule that I wanted to follow with the goal of ending on Saturday afternoon. Obviously, that did not happen, but this schedule was very important in trying to keep me on track to have that end goal date of Saturday so that this didn't turn into like a week-long stream. Something that really hurt us was the fact that there was no fast-forward function, which is not what Konami said and not how they advertised this game. There was no fast forwarding at Mach speeds, as it says still on the website if you go to it right now. And so that really hurt with games like Dungeon Dice Monsters, which was a game I felt like I could fly through. Well, that game, spoiler alert, ended up taking a full 10 hours. Not because we lost duels. I think we literally lost one match of Dungeon Dice Monsters, but because it just took forever with no fast-forward capability. So that was an early pitfall that we certainly ran into. But the challenge starts on Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters for the Game Boy, released in 1998.
Let's just duel. Let's just duel, dude. Oh my god, man. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't slightly regretting my life choices.
I laugh because I'm starting to realize the ridiculousness of this challenge and that I'm about to be live for the next 100 hours. Well, this game is very primitive. There's, I believe, 3 or 4 different areas, and you have to beat each duelist 5 times in order to advance to the next area. This is going to be a theme that is very repetitive for these early Yu-Gi-Oh! Games, and this was the first Yu-Gi-Oh! Game ever made. Attack and defense is important, but attributes overweigh whatever attack and defense there are. Meaning, if you have a 300 attack point light monster and you go up against a 4,000 attack point fiend monster, the 300 attack point light monster will win because light triumphs fiend. I'll try to have the effectiveness sheet on the screen right now, but that's basically what you need to know. And I played this for about 6.5 hours before I handed over the controller to my friends Calibro and DJ. That was another thing that made this actually possible to beat within 130 hours. I would play until about 6 o'clock at night, and then my friends would take over for 4 to 5 hours, and you'll see them all throughout the stream. Calibro, DJ, Nick T, Pete, and Dredger. Huge shout out to all of them, as they would all kind of take shifts and take on other games while I was asleep. So Calibro and DJ here on Monday night started on Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters 2 Dark Duel Stories, which is a very similar game. Not only does it play the same, but you have to defeat all the opponents in each area 5 times in order to proceed. By the time their 5 hours was up and I was ready for a 20-hour shift into Tuesday, no games had been completed, but I knew I did not have long to go on Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters. And thus, after playing for about 6 hours, Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters was defeated at around midnight on Monday night. The next game we played was Yu-Gi-Oh! Dark Duel Stories, which was essentially Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters 3. So at this point, we were pretty much getting tired of seeing the same thing, just with a different UI overlay over and over. That's pretty much all we've played at this point to try to get rid of those early Yu-Gi-Oh! Games. There's not much more to say here. It's a very similar game where you verse characters, you have to beat them all 5 times in order to advance, and then you end up facing the final boss. And lo and behold, after 10 hours, we finally beat the final boss. Something that was unique about this game was you could actually make your own monsters, and I know you can craft your own cards and they could be super, super broken. Like you can craft 2,000 attack point and 2,000 defense point level 4 monsters. While we didn't necessarily craft any super broken monsters, crafting monsters was certainly important because I felt like the difficulty scale in this game was certainly spiked. I mean, look at how crazy looking this final boss is. But lo and behold, we eventually won in a game that would take over 10 hours, almost double the length of the first game. I think just due to its sheer difficultiness. And just like that, 2 of the 13 games were beaten. The next game we moved on to was Eternal Duelist Soul. This was the only game I played as a kid. The only Yu-Gi-Oh! Game I played as a kid, I should say. So it really took me down a trip down memory lane, but it was very frustrating when I quickly learned that it's very similar. You have to beat each area's NPCs, and there's 5 of them, a certain amount of times before you can advance to the next area. You have to beat each Tier 1 Duelist twice, each Tier 2 Duelist 3 times, each Tier 3 Duelist 4 times, and each Tier 4 Duelist 5 times in order to duel the duel computer and win. I know you can get Simon and Pegasus and Truesdale, but those were more like collectible things, and really just getting to the final tier and versing the only mandatory boss in that final tier, I think was good enough in order to determine that this game was a win. Eternal Duelist Soul was the first game on this list that actually plays like more traditional Yu-Gi-Oh! There's no attributes or anything like that like there was in the first few games, so this was nice, but man, this one took a while. An element of this game that we certainly used to our advantage was rewinding to cheese the packs. The rewind feature, which is something we haven't talked about yet, really made this challenge possible, because if we made a dueling mistake or our opponent went down a route like they had Mirror Force that I wanted to change, I could rewind, set monsters in defense, and then attack into the Mirror Force. You could also cheese the packs by rewinding until you get really good cards. We did use this to our advantage because we had to use anything that we could to our advantage. Otherwise, we would have been live for probably close to 200 hours. We got pretty far in Eternal Duelist Soul, but by the time 6 o'clock rolled around, we still hadn't beaten the game, and it was time to hand off the sticks to Calibro and Pete. Now, Calibro and Pete were a little behind as they needed to finish Duel Monsters 2, and Duel Monsters 2 was certainly starting to be a challenge. They had to go back and grind for some cards. Seto Kaiba was proving to be a huge nuisance, but thankfully, they got Blue Eyes White Dragon as a very rare Seto Kaiba drop, and then something amazing happened against Pegasus, the final boss.
Yeah, if we just get Blue Eyes in the first turn every time.
Every time we're going to top deck
easy.
him. We're going to top deck him every time.
Okay.
I mean, just stop it. I mean, just stop it. Now, you know what? We suffered enough. We deserve this.
Oh,
we deserve this.
My Lord and Savior, dude.
We deserve this.
We got Blue Eyes White Dragon!
Nah, come on. We're owed this. This isn't whatever this is, 2002 when this game came out. Blue Eyes! Dude, there's no way, dude. Is this the ultimate cheat? Awesome.
Yes.
So, that's Dylan's rules. So. Dude, this is I've never had this kind of luck in my life.
Neither have I. This is insane.
There's no.
How is this the easiest part of this entire game?
Well, because we have Blue Eyes. There is no possible way it happens for a 5th time in a row. There's just no way. There's no way. Stop it. Oh my god, dude! Freaking Pegasus is a bum, dude. He's a bum. Bum. 5-0.
Go back to your Shadow Realm or wherever the hell you came from.
Go back to kidnapping kids or whatever the hell you're doing. Get out of here.
Go back to Toon World.
Yeah, go back to your weirdo castle.
Let's go!
They drew Blue Eyes White Dragon 5 straight times against Pegasus, and you need to beat the final boss 5 times in order to beat this game. It was a blessing from the Yu-Gi-Oh! Gods and goddesses, and thus Calibur and Pete had completed Dark Duel Stories in 8 hours time, and they started to tackle Monster Capsule GB. And my lord, we had no idea what the hell we were getting into. Pete and Calibur started this in the last hour of Tuesday night. This pretty much took up the rest of the guys' time on Wednesday night, Thursday night, and Friday night. Granted, there was no data on this game on howtobeat.com in terms of how long it should take. This game took the guys 17 hours to finish, and that's with the rewind capability. We're going to skip around, obviously, so we'll get more into Monster Capsule later, but just know that this is basically what my friends were doing while I was asleep for the remainder of the stream, and it was very, very important that they beat this game. So anyway, we have 3 games beaten now, still Tuesday night. I get back on the sticks at around 11:30 p.m. to finish off Eternal Duelist Soul. I take down the Duelist robot pretty quickly, and Eternal Duelist Soul is beaten in a total of just under 11 hours, and we are late Tuesday night, and we have 4 out of 13 games beaten, and we're feeling pretty good. Well, now we move on to the Sacred Cards. I don't know how many of you have played the Sacred Cards, but it's basically a self-insert story of your own character in Battle City, which is actually really cool. Sacred Cards was actually one of my favorites from the collection. Now, while I was playing Sacred Cards, everybody kept saying, oh, it's basically, you know, Reshef is basically Sacred Cards Kaizo. It's basically a very difficult version of Sacred Cards. Sacred Cards is very easy. And Sacred Cards was relatively easy. Not only were we able to cheese pack openings, but we were also able to rewind in case we misplayed, or rewind in case attributes needed to be a little better for our formula, because attributes for the Sacred Cards and Reshef are back, meaning attributes are more important than attack and defense. But we beat Sacred Cards in 3.5 hours. Huge time save there. Sacred Cards I thought was going to take closer to 7 or 8. We beat it in only 3.5 hours, which was really, really cool. Very fun game, but now it's early Wednesday morning, and I decide I need a break. I need to sleep for 4 hours. I felt we made really good time on the Sacred Cards, and I just was not feeling good at this point. We had almost been streaming for over 36 hours, and yes, even though I was taking like 4-hour naps, it was still starting to affect me, and I felt we needed to break, especially before what was sure to be a difficult game like Reshef of Destruction. And so that's what we did. At 9:30 a.m. on Wednesday morning, I came back to tackle Reshef, and my, oh my, people were not underselling the difficulty of this game. Reshef of Destruction gives you no money to buy cards. The cards are insanely expensive. The opponents are insanely difficult. The shop is complete RNG bullcrap as to what cards actually come to the shop, so you could go a full playthrough without getting any good cards that are even available for purchase. And even if you get good cards in the shop, well, good luck saving up enough money to actually use them, and good luck leveling up your character high enough to actually be a high enough level in order to use the cards as well. It feels like they took all the fun and relaxing elements of Sacred Cards and said, you know what? Let's make Dark Souls Yu-Gi-Oh! And that's exactly what they did. But at least with Dark Souls and Bloodborne, you can study the patterns of your opponents. You can learn their weakness in order to defeat the bosses. With this game, there's nothing like that. It just feels like complete nonsense, and you run into brick wall after brick wall after brick wall. But that being said, we made our way through Reshef with bravery and patience until we ran in to Marek. Marek is known allegedly as being one of the big walls of this game, and we were only duel level 133. I looked it up online, and somebody from a forum like 20 years ago when this game came out said they were duel level like 165, and everybody in the comments was like, oh, that's way too low for Marek. Marek's gonna kill you. That's way too low. Meanwhile, it would take probably 7 hours to grind just to get to 165. I knew we were in a little bit of trouble, but that was a problem for Wednesday night, as my friends were here to continue Monster Capsule. Dredger and Nick T worked through Monster Capsule as quickly as possible, but again, this game proved to be a complete time dump for them, but they worked through it, and that took up all of the 4.5 hours that they played for me Wednesday night. I retook over Wednesday night with the goal of grinding. I said, let's just grind, try to get some good drops against maybe Tristan or Yugi, and then see if better cards show up in Grandpa Moto's shop, because I knew we were in trouble. Well, at some point around 3 a.m., I was just sick of the grinding, and I was like, we have to try to beat Marek. And let me tell you, the reason we were not on Reshef for another 12 hours is because of this insanely lucky duel we had against Marek. I want you to watch.
I mean, just... let's see. It's not a good start. Inexperienced spy. We're going to defend and hope it's a water type. It's not. It's a... Or he tribute summoned a wind. Do we have whatever counters that? I don't think we do. We need a fiend. Oh, and we have a fiend. Hang on. Thank you guys for saying it in the chat because I'm cooked. Okay. A few options we can do here. Widespread ruin. Dude, okay. Well, then we only have one option. We have to hope he plays Revival Jam. We have to hope he plays Revival Jam. Let's see. Play it. Oh my god, dude. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. He's got one monster in hand, and he's got 2 cards in his hand that we don't know what they are. Midoriya will destroy Meteor Dragon, I think. Oh, you gotta keep giving me monsters, man. We can't... Oh, that's the worst thing that could have happened. Wait, no, it's not. Wait, no, it's not. We have a thunder. 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 Thank God we have Thunder Dragon. Okay. How many cards does he have? Revival Gem was activated. That's fine. Okay. Do I use this now? I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna use it. We just have to keep his field empty. We just have to hope he just draws into like a high-level monster and can't do anything. I know Raigeki's coming, dude. Give me a monster. Just give me a monster. That'll do. We always have Final Destiny as the last ditch. Come on. You just don't want a back row card. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Just keep giving me monsters. You just don't want anything to pop up in the back row. What is that? Feather Duster. In case he gets Widespread Ruin, we can counter it. Okay, come on. He can't have that many cards. He got it. It's terrible. Attack me. Attack me. Come on, we can beat over all this stuff. We gotta get rid of Swords of Revealing Light, man. Thunder is super against him. Swords goes on forever, dude. Not another Swords. Monster Reborn. Shit. Oh, that's the one that got revived? But the tribute, Des Volsklaf. That's it. That's game. Yeah. It's Swords of Revealing Light, man. It's just a very unfair card. Wait, we got... Oh my god, we got wind. Oh my god, we got wind. An insane top deck. And now we got our array of horrible monsters. Defense. Revival Jam. We can beat Revival Jam with our Thunder. Oh my god, dude, this is crap. The problem is... He's gonna get a tribute. That's fine, that's a waste of a draw. Can we beat Shadow? Shadow is Fiend. Wait, do we have this? That's crazy. Come on, man. Come on! It's just a ridiculous duel. He's a ridiculous opponent. We have card advantage, but our cards are crap. feel like it is not coming together. We just don't, our cards are just not good enough, man. Oh my god, give me a monster we can tribute, please. Give me a monster I can tribute, please. Oh. Dude, it's all crap. It's all crappy monsters. And everything he draws is like the Pharaoh. Do we have the type? I don't think we do. We do. I'm gonna wait. I'm not gonna Dark Hole yet. Give me a tribute monster, please. Oh my god, that trap came through. Give me a monster. Tribute monster. I cannot believe that trap actually worked. I knew he had a monster that was weak. You know we haven't seen that fire thing yet. You know that fire monster's coming. Oh, give me another monster. Oh my god. Fine. One more turn. One more turn, please. Please. That's it. Not Raigeki. That's fine. Oh, that's terrible. Oh my god, we won. Oh my god, we won. We won. Oh my god. Oh my god. Dude, I thought we were going to be stuck. I thought we were going to be stuck on him for, I'm not even kidding, like 8 hours.
I know that might seem like an overreaction if you've never played this game before or weren't watching the stream. All of his monsters were stronger than us. The fact that we drew a dream monster to eliminate his shadow, the fact that our House of Adhesive Tape, which only destroys monsters if they have 500 attack or lower, actually worked. And he summoned a monster with 500 attack, and we drew into Hourglass, which at the time was like our best card in the deck, were all unbelievable things that needed to happen. We were stuck on him for, I'm not even kidding, probably about 4 to 5 hours, and we needed the perfect run in order to beat him, and we finally, by some miracle, got it. We weren't necessarily in the clear. There were still some tough things to do, but we did end up using a code, which is an in-game code that you can get in order to get the Winged Dragon of Ra Assault Mode. Now, this is a huge card because if you draw it, you simply discard it to your graveyard, which this game allows you to do, and then you can summon the Winged Dragon of Ra, which is divine, meaning it cannot be destroyed by any weak attribute matchups, and it cannot be destroyed by any spell or traps, and it's a 4K beater, and you are in good shape. But still, drawing the Winged Dragon of Ra is not something that is a given, especially in a deck with 40 cards. Grandpa Moto's shop also got better cards, and so we were able to get some good cards as well. But the final boss was still the final boss. Not only was it Pegasus and then Reshef, but you have to face them back to back, and Pegasus has 20,000 life points and Reshef has 40,000. So we started the duel against Maximilian Pegasus, and very early on we were able to get the Winged Dragon of Ra, which we were able to basically ride to victory against Pegasus. And then we had to go up against Reshef, and this is what happened.
Okay. Oh my. I think we won. I think we won. I think we won. I mean...
We started with the Winged Dragon of Ra, which I absolutely couldn't believe the luck. The Winged Dragon of Ra ended up carrying us to victory, and in only 19 hours, yes, this was the longest game of this entire collection for us, but the fact that Reshef, a first-time player, only took 19 hours, not using any codes outside of the Ra code, I am super proud of. This game was insanely challenging, and if you've never played it before, I highly recommend it. And please be patient with yourself because this game is brutally difficult. But Reshef was done Thursday morning, and the most difficult game of the collection was out of the way. Still hours to go, but the skies were looking a little bluer. We then moved on to Dungeon Dice Monsters. Now, besides the Eternal Duelist Soul, Dungeon Dice Monsters is the only other game that I've played in this collection before. I actually played it on the channel about 5 months ago, but playing it in the early days collection was absolutely brutal. It's not that this game was difficult by any means. I know that you're simply supposed to spam your level 1 monsters in order to ambush your opponent's deckmaster. You attack their deckmaster 3 times and you win the duel. The problem with this game is there was no fast forward function. So a game that I thought I could really speed through using that mock speed fast forward that Konami was so wonderfully advertising, which of course was non-existent in this game, I couldn't do. And so Dungeon Dice Monsters ended up taking me about 10 hours in total. I couldn't even beat it before the guys came over for Thursday night to continue Monster Capsule. Dredger and Pete this time teamed up, and they were able to make it all the way to Chapter 5, which was the final chapter, but literally they spent 4 hours just beating Chapter 4. That's how grindy and how long and difficult these chapters were getting. So huge shout out to them. Their Thursday night shift ended, just needing Chapter 5 to beat, which I knew the team would be able to take care of on Friday night. I went back to Dungeon Dice Monsters and finished up the final tournaments, and Dungeon Dice Monsters, again, after a painful 10 hours due to just how slow and repetitive the game was at times, was defeated. 7 games to go. A cool thing about the Dungeon Dice Monsters moment was Simo, one of the most popular Yugi tubers there was, actually showed up to give me some support and some tips. I know he's a huge fan of Dungeon Dice Monsters, so huge shout out to Simo for coming through. That was really, really cool. House of Champs, another really good Yugi tuber, really nice dude. He was also there throughout most of the stream, so huge shout out to him as well. 2 really cool Yugi tubers. But anyway, back to the challenge. The next game we were moving on to was Worldwide Edition Stairway to the Destined Duel. Now, this was a game that was supposed to take 16 hours according to howtobeat.com, but this was Cheese City thanks to the rewind function. Every now and then, after about 10 days, you'll get a message from Domino City, and Domino City will say, be on the lookout for ghouls. Whenever that event comes, the next day, you have to guess which circle, which is basically an event or like a passerby moment, the rare hunters are at. Now, without the rewind feature, you can imagine that this would take forever. But with the rewind feature, you get this message, you trial and error, and eventually you click which event space the rare hunter is at. And then you need to duel all 5 rare hunters: Odeon, Strings, Arcana, Umbra and Loomis, and the Exodia rare hunter. Sometimes one that you've already faced can come up, but if that happens, you simply rewind and re-roll it. Thanks to the rewind feature in this game, we were able to zoom through this game, get to the temple, face a gauntlet of characters being controlled by Marek, and then eventually face Marek at the end of the temple in order to trigger the credits. Stairway to the Destined Duel took a grand total of 3 hours thanks to the rewind cheese. And all of a sudden, it was Friday morning and I was feeling really good. 8 of these 13 games had been completed, and the only thing left on my table were the 2 World Championship Tournament games, 2004 and 2005. And my God, World Championship Tournament 2004 was the most grindy freaking game I've ever played. The developers of this game must have looked at their earlier games and said, instead of beating characters 5 times in each area, let's have the player beat characters 5 times in each area until the second area, and then they have to beat each character 10 times, and then 15 times. The amount of repetitiveness in this game was absolutely brutal. We got through as much of it as we can. Now, luckily, much like the Eternal Duelist Soul, we were able to cheese pack openings, which helped, especially because, to get Pegasus, you need, Toon World, Blue Eyes Toon Dragon, and Toon Summon Skull. You needed specific cards. So we were able to cheese that, and we were able to build a really good deck really quickly. But beating all of the characters in Tier 5 15 times each just to unlock a Tem was absolutely brutal. And of course, we could not do this in one sitting. After playing for no joke about 10 hours straight, I handed it off to my friends DJ, Nick T, and Pete so they could beat Monster Capsule and end this nightmarish game. And on Friday night, ladies and gentlemen, they finally did it. There was a great fake out moment where me and Crystal came down to celebrate with the guys thinking they beat it, only for the 3 Blue Eyes White Dragon to fuse into Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. And then the boys had to defeat Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, but they did. They saved Kaiba from the Millennium Ring. And after 17 painstaking hours, throughout Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, all 5 of my friends that helped me with this challenge touching this game, Yu-Gi-Oh! Monster Capsule GB was beaten and 9 games were down. Next up was Destiny Board Traveler, which we had heard was going to be a really quick game. So DJ left and Pete and Nick T decided to try to do it as quickly as possible. They set it to the lowest setting. They won the very first turn. The Steam notification popped up.
We got some achievement. Win a match in Destiny Board Traveler.
Wow.
That's the achievement we just got. Is that technically should be it?
No, I don't know if that. Oh, actually, maybe
The achievement came out that said win win it. All right, we'll play it more. We'll play more.
Oh yeah. Oh, because.
You sure? I won the game. I need an official ruling that we might have just won this game. Dill, is that an official ruling?
I think it is.
That's a win! That's it. That's all you had to do. Actually, that seems pretty fun, actually.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Destiny Board Traveler took a grand total of 5 minutes. And just like that, we went from 8 out of 13 to 10 out of 13 in a matter of about 15 minutes, and we were rocking. I quickly hopped back on the sticks to try to get through World Championship Tournament as quickly as possible, knowing we had about 110 more wins needed, and there was a great Exodia back-to-back moment against Seeker, so I'll let you guys enjoy that.
And it was Sailor Moon.
No, it was Yu-Gi-Oh! Go Rush, episode 1.
And we got Exodia.
There's no way. There's no way they did this to you again. And it's over.
When I don't make DJ's party, this is what I'm gonna send them. This I can't even skip it. It's an unskippable.
I think it's supposed to not happen that often.
That we enjoy doing together outside of anime. Like
There's no way. No. There's no way. In God's green
How?
earth. It's impossible. The duel just started.
I'm really glad I did not get the Exodia patches for your jacket.
Holy shit, dude.
that was 6 cards.
It just started.
That was 6 cards.
Over 100 hours into this damn stream, my throat was done, my mind was done, my body was ravaged, and we're getting hit with back-to-back freaking Exodia. Just unbelievable. But anyway, we got ourselves together, and after a total of 18 hours, we defeated a Tem, and we knocked off what would be the second longest game on this list, and certainly the most grindy game, World Championship Tournament 2004. But here's the issue. Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters 4 Battle of the Great Duelists, I forgot that we needed to beat. That was a game that my friends were going to beat if they had time, but Monster Capsule just took way too long for them to even start this game. And so I hopped back over to Duel Monsters 4. I had to remember what I played at the beginning of this stream because it was very similar to the first 2 games I played. And after some struggling, after some grinding, after some luck, we ended up beating Pegasus 5 times using the Yugi deck, and in about 5 hours, we beat Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters 4 Battle of Great Duelists, and so the time is about 3 o'clock on Saturday afternoon, and we had 1 game left to go, 7 trials to glory. This game is kind of weird because there's like a rotating ban list. Also, the limitation tournament, which you have to do, was a nightmare. And I actually thought we were going to get soft locked at points because like Joey Wheeler not being able to use spells and only having these really, really strong like level 4 monsters I thought was actually going to like kill us. But luckily we got lucky enough to kind of cheese that a little bit and just got good RNG. Basically, you need to beat the weekend tournament 3 times in order to unlock the Kaiba Corp tournament. And then if you beat 7 duelists in a row and win the Kaiba Corp tournament, you get the limitation tournament. And then you have to beat another 7 duelists in a row. And then you get the national tournament. And funny enough, the national tournament was actually really simple. I did not struggle at the national tournament at all. This game had a pretty significant difficulty curve curve, I felt, where it got a little easier, maybe outside of the limitation tournament as it went on. In the beginning, you don't start with that many good cards, and we did open the Gemini Elf pack, and we were able to get 3 Gemini Elves and 3 Dark Elves, which are certainly really good level 4 monsters, but our opponents always had Hane, Penguin Soldier, or Man-Eater Bug. I still see those 3 cards in my nightmares over a week later after finishing this freaking game. Every NPC, it felt like, had these 3 cards, which honestly felt a little lazy, giving every character the same annoying flip effect monsters. But we scrubbed through the weekend tournament and won. We eventually beat Kaiba in the finals of the Kaiba Corp tournament and won. And then we eventually won the limitation tournament, and we reached Nationals, and the end was near. It was about 8 o'clock when the national tournament started on Saturday night, and after getting to the finals and knowing it was a best of 3 match and winning the first game, here is the final moments of the Early Days Collection marathon stream.
You can't beat it, dude. For the first time ever, I'm going to say the first time ever, and it could end up being the only time ever, the entirety of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Early Days Collection, the 13 English games, have been beaten from start to finish in one stream. But let's just see the credits. Let's just see the credits. You won the championship. You got 30,000 DP, and that's it. And that is it. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my god, dude. You know, I gotta tell you, man, that was unbelievable.
I can't describe how I felt when I beat this game. I have done 24-hour streams before. Hell, I've even done one 48-hour stream with the help of friends. I have never done anything like this. This is one of the craziest streams I have ever done. 130 hours of being live straight, of knowing, even when I was asleep, even when I was getting up, knowing that the chair in the basement and the screen was my life until I beat all of these games. I have to give a huge thank you to Calibro, Dredger, Nick T, Pete, and DJ, who came by and helped me out while I was asleep. Them progressing in some of these games and beating some of these games is a big reason why this was not a week-long stream. And a huge thank you to all of you guys. You know, you guys have supported me over the years so much that you allowed me to do a challenge that was this insane. And if you're still watching, and this was maybe the first time you're hearing about this challenge, well, I hope you enjoyed me narrating it and me recapping it. And just know that I really appreciate all of your support. Thank you all so much for watching. If you're interested in my consolidated thoughts on the Early Days Collection, I did post a review yesterday. I'll have that linked in the description. Let me know your favorite games in the Early Days Collection. I would love to hear from you down below in the comments. And I will be doing a video in the near future where I rank every game in the Early Days Collection. Thank you all so much for watching. I love and appreciate all of you, and I hope you have an amazing day. Take care, guys.